y'all doing this afternoon? Oh, yes, Lord. Good afternoon. How y'all doing out there? You know what I'm talking about? Listen, I was singing and praising, so my voice a little bit, you know what I'm talking about? And I noticed that when I was doing some TikTok, you know what I'm talking about? I'm not a real loud joint anyway, you know what I'm saying? Because to me, inside myself, it sounds like I'm yelling how I'm talking right now. But you probably like, what'd you say? Come on. Yes, Lord. Because I'm laid back, you know what I'm talking about? Listen. Then I got my little stuttering habit. Then, I sound country. So, I was looking at some comedy and it was a old school joint. It was Cedric the Entertainer, you know what I'm talking about? And before I get into that, you know what I'm talking about, try to uplift your spirit, you know what I'm talking about, because he has his spirit in this presence, you know what I'm talking about, in our presence. I want y'all to listen at the noise in the background. Y'all hear that? If you ever get woken up in the middle of the night and y'all hearing this, you know, that's them trying to program you. You know what I'm talking about? That's these evil joints, you know what I'm talking about? That's manipulative and they trying to change what God has in your range. You know what I'm talking about? If you get what I'm saying with me breaking it down just that simple. You know what I'm talking about? You know, because my very, 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 very special person, she broke it down best. You know what I'm talking about? She went into detail, and it was very, very helpful. You know what I'm talking about? That helped a lot of people understand things. I love my kingdom spouse. You know what I'm talking about? Listen, she is wise, intelligent, beautiful, and just, ooh, yes, Lord. And good afternoon, baby. I love you. Hey, babies. You talking about? Yes, Lord. I say, ooh, yes, Lord. Yes, Lord Jesus. Let's see. Now, I said, I'm trying to uplift us. You know what I'm talking about? Tell you the experience that I had. I was looking at some comedy, and it was Cedric the Entertainer, and he was talking about visiting down south, and he said he went to his people house, and one of his people boys, you know what I'm talking about, trying to introduce himself. You know what I'm talking about? And it was something about, his name was CJ, but he thought he was saying something else because he is so country sounding and speaking so fast. You know what I'm talking about? And that really had me cracking up when I went through one of my videos, you know what I'm talking about? And I heard myself because I don't go through a lot of them like that, you know what I'm talking about? And recheck over them and none of that type of stuff, but I'm gonna start doing that more often, you know what I'm talking about? Because that was funny to me. And then something that I noticed, this was last year, and I seen, like, when you go into your video setting and it show you all your videos, right? So I seen it on TikTok. I seen it moving, you know what I'm saying? You'll see it moving sometimes. Sometimes it won't just be sitting still. So I seen it moving, and y'all know y'all joint is, happy joint. You know what I'm talking about? God knows how to make me laugh. And I looked at it and I turned the phone off. Then I clicked it back on because I was like, yo, it's moving. You know what I'm talking about? It's doing like it did before, you know what I'm saying, over on YouTube. So I looked, got to scrolling through the deal, you know what I'm talking about? And I got to a particular point where I think I'm gonna record that joint too, where it had a couple of pictures on there that like kind of matched the movements. It was like one of them was like, and the other one was you have to see it. This is authentic and nothing. Lord Jesus. If you look on, yes, Lord. If you look on, if unsugarcoated on YouTube. When you look through some of those videos, you probably will see it. It probably be the first thing that you see when you look through the videos. You'll see a whole bunch of pictures of me there, and when you click on there, boy, you'll see how God tickled me. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, Lord Jesus. Now, we want to get into the title. This is a series of 3. I prayed to God and I asked him last night, I'm talking about, if I should extend it, I'm talking about, and see, how far I can go with trying to explain this type of message, me, myself, I'm talking about. And, when I was praying for that, he was giving me the word for this. I think this should be powerful enough to get the point across. You know what I'm talking about, to a lot of us. You know what I'm talking about, and that's including me, myself. You know what I'm talking about. Because they say practice what you preach. So I'm finna preach something that I practice. You know what I'm talking about. Listen. Oh, Lord. And we're gonna get old Bible baby out with me. Yeah, baby. Come on. See what she talking about. Now, when we talking about generational curses, we talking about things that we probably didn't even have nothing to do with. You know what I'm talking about? And ain't no probably to it, because just like in the Bible, when the people of old didn't keep the first covenant, you know what I'm talking about? And then, God had to release his spirit from that vessel to go back and get the new lesson. You know what I'm talking about? When he went back to get the new lesson, that was our blessing. That was our freedom. That was our salvation. In order for us to elevate and keep going and be free, you know what I'm talking about, with the will of he. You know what I'm talking about? With his will for our lives. Now listen. This is one generational curse that needs to be broken, and it needs to be broken at an early age. You know what I'm talking about? And see, I don't want to use the word hate, because his timing is great. But if I would have known these things, to think about it, to implicate it back when my children were smaller, you know what I'm talking about, then they wouldn't have to go through it right now. They wouldn't have to do nothing about it right now. You know what I'm talking about? And what I'm talking about is, when we speaking about generational wealth, us as parents, we go out here and we work hard for our children. You know what I'm talking about? To try to build a solid foundation for them to be able to flourish and grow. You know what I'm talking about? And, with how things go as we have learned and we became adults, you know what I'm talking about? A lot of things run off of credit. You know what I'm talking about? Joints see me in here anyway. Listen, this is authentic or nothing. And I be trying to get, where I can be quiet, because people be trying to come up and talk to me and different things, you know what I'm saying? And I be trying to be focused, keep my eyes fixed, you know what I'm talking about, and stay grounded while I'm in the mix, you know what I'm talking about? So listen, things run off of credit, right? And pretty much, even if you have a little part-time job and you got a $5,000-$10,000 spending limit, you know what I'm talking about? You are pretty much rich. You know what I'm talking about? Once you get that credit right, you know what I'm talking about? But, a lot of us didn't have nobody to be able to teach us this while we were young. You know what I'm talking about? Young, dumb, you know what I'm talking about, having plenty of money. Cause see, I come up from the dope boy era, what they call the D boys, you know what I'm talking about? That's them boys. Listen, You know, it wasn't nothing to be walking around with $3, $4, $5,000 on you. You know, talking about on you. These young joints now that's doing this in these videos, y'all kind of sending the wrong message. You know what I'm talking about? That should be a piece of plastic, because if you worried about your ops and you getting robbed and all that different things like that, you know what I'm talking about? Then make it hard for them joints. You know what I'm talking about? They got to go through a whole bunch of stuff to get to that. You know what I'm talking about? So if they's gonna kill you already, you know, still they ain't getting nothing. You know what I'm talking about? That's just being real. You know what I'm talking about? You know, I'm a street cat. You know what I'm talking about? I keep it a buck. You know what I'm talking about? And I don't even really like saying that I'm a street cat, because, you know, I'm not. I'm a child of God. You know what I'm talking about? I'm just trying to spit some wisdom to your noggin. You know what I'm talking about? So you don't be out here flogging. You know what I'm talking about? You don't be out here making yourself a target. You don't be out here making yourself a victim. You know what I'm talking about? Because they stick them. You know what I'm talking about? Listen, I had a young joint that was, you know, he was doing his thing, and he came up from Illinois, from Chicago, you know what I'm talking about, and he ended up in my presence, and he was telling me, oh yeah, I got people over in Detroit, this and that and the third, blase, splee, you know what I'm talking about, so I'll be going through Flint too. And he said, no, well, I ain't never been through Flint. You know, I'm from Flint town, you know what I'm talking about, I'm Flintstone, you know what I'm saying, born and raised. Listen, I told him, I said, don't go up there with no mess, bro. You know what I'm talking about? Don't go up there with no mess. I didn't see him for a while. Next thing I heard from his people, that he didn't make it. This confirmation. You hear that? Deep, deep. He didn't make it 24 hours in Flint, Michigan. And I'm not saying that to say that, oh, well, I got the roughest, baddest hood, or, you know what I'm saying, it's real bad there and all that stuff. No, I'm just saying, you know, we have to watch what we do. We have to watch what we say. We have to watch how we play. You know what I'm talking about? Because, see, some people, they just don't understand it. And that's another part of a generational curse. Because just like I was saying with that, you know, with these cats that's doing these videos and different things like that, and they run around here dissing, dissing people, this and that and the third. And y'all, they even be their own people. You know what I'm talking about? That's how far the stuff went. You know what I'm talking about? Hatfield and McCoy type deal. Listen, I'm just trying to speak some wisdom to you. You know what I'm talking about? Now, you done did that. You done went on there and you done dissed somebody, this and that and the third. Now, that beef might be over with, squash. Somebody might have been killed. Somebody might have been not. But out that deal, you done influenced other people into that toxic cycle. So now they running around, you know, oh man, you know, this is how it's supposed to be, because they being brainwashed into it, because, you know, you hear repeated things, then it sticks to you. That's why we speak positive things over us and our children, you know what I'm talking about? And we try to speak positive things over y'all too, you know what I'm talking about? Over everybody, you know, so that can break a cycle, you know what I'm talking about? Now, where I'm going with this is, you know, years later, that smoke might have died down, but those people then had offsprings now. You know what I'm talking about? So now it is carrying on, because ain't no telling how the fight went in between that situation. You know what I'm talking about? So now you got innocence that's being born into a generational curse. You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with that? So you know better than a witch or a warlock when you do things like that. So don't be to where I'm doing more positive things and keeping negative things away from me, because it ain't my portion. You know what I'm talking about? Like I said, I'm a happy joint. I love to be happy. You know what I'm talking about? And people don't love to see you happy. And that's part of a generational curse on them. Anybody that don't love to see you happy, even if they know you or not, you know what I'm talking about? They have been cursed. They cursed themselves by not coming up out of that old toxic cycle. They too busy worried about you instead of themselves. They'll never elevate. They'll never grow. And it makes them madder and madder when they see that God has his hands on your life. You know, this joint tripping out, you know what I'm talking about? But I think I might jump on over on the other one. You know what I'm talking about? Where we at? You see, this kind of happened the other day. You know what I'm saying? I seen this swirl just a minute ago. You know what I'm talking about? Where it went offline for a minute. And I was trying to you see the sun getting brighter and brighter. I see the sun getting brighter and brighter as I'm speaking this. Listen, where the joint went off the other day and I was praying and I was saying some positive things, you know what I'm